Shalom. Welcome to Parsha Wisdom from YCT. I'm Rabbi Dov Linzer, and I'd like to share with you a thought on this week's Parsha. This week's Parsha Vayishlach, we read that after Yaakov and his family encounter Esau and his army of 400 men and narrowly escape harm, that before entering into the land of Canaan, he stops in a place called Sukkot. V'Yaakov nasa Sukkota v'yiven lo bayit u'lemikneu asa Sukkot al ken kvar shema makom Sukkot. Yaakov traveled to Sukkot. He made for himself a house, for his cattle, for his flock. He made Sukkot. He made these lean-tos, these huts, and the name of the place was Sukkot. And then the next verse tells us that he traveled to the land of Canaan and he dwelt in Shechem. So what is the significance of the fact that he stopped in this place called Sukkot? And actually, if you compare this to a story much later where a people narrowly escaped harm, we also find out that they stopped in Sukkot. When Bnei Israel left Egypt, the pasuk tells us that Vayisu Bnei Israel mi Ramses Sukkot, that same word Vayisu, they traveled. They traveled from Ramses to Sukkot. And 600,000 men, soldiers, the whole people traveled to this place called Sukkot. So there's an obvious parallel here, narrowly escaping harm, one's enemies that are out to destroy us. And before we enter in or begin a journey to the land of Canaan, we stop in a place called Sukkot. And I believe that the significance is that a sukkah is actually symbolic of the sense of protection. It's true that it is not as protective as a house, but nevertheless it is made purely for that purpose. A classic sukkah is made because somebody is out in the fields in the beating sun, protecting the crops or watching the flock, and doesn't want to be exposed to the element, and makes a lean-to, makes a small little hut with shade in order to protect themselves. It is about shade and protection and nothing else. It's not about raising a family. It's not about intimacy. It's about protection from the elements to be held and to be saved. And what we're reading in these two verses is that people that are running away or that are leaving a challenging, a potentially violent situation, before you go on to the rest of your journey, before you resume your normal life and what you're about to do, you have to pause for a moment. You have to stop. You have to be held. You have to be protected. You have to be comforted. You have to be told everything is okay. Calm down. You're here. You're safe. You're out of that trouble. Now, after you've taken a breath, now you can proceed on. Now you can go to the land of Canaan. And actually, our rabbis tell us that the mitzvah of sitting in a sukkah, because God says, I took you out, I made you dwell in Sukkot when I took you out of the land of Egypt. According to some rabbis, that literally means the place of Sukkot, not in huts, but when I brought you out of the land of Egypt, you first stopped in Sukkot. God showed that sense of protecting you by letting you stop and catch your breath, by letting you be held, by having you pause, know that you were safe, and only afterwards you were able to continue your journey. So as we now, God willing, see some end to this long period of the coronavirus, they've announced a vaccine, we have to get through the winter, we should be thinking about what is that our Sukkot that we are going to dwell in, that we are going to be held, that we are going to feel safe before we continue to immediately transition back to life that looks like something that it looked in the past. And I ask us all to take a moment to reflect on that, and maybe more so when we're almost out of that, when we're finally exiting, are we taking a pause with ourselves, with our families, to just feel, okay, we've been through a very traumatic experience. Let's feel that sense of comfort, of being held, of being protected, and then let's get back to the life that was something to like it was before. God willing, we should all be able to do that, and we should find that next step of our journey coming to us very soon. Shabbat Shalom.